Ladies and gentlemen, this is the last day of the year. Today is December 31st, 2019, and it is the last day of the year. More significantly, ladies and gentlemen, it is the last day of the decade. It is the end of 2019. It is the last day of the year. It is the last day of the decade, the last of 10. Of course, every year we do our New Year's resolutions. Everything's going to be great the next year. And so now it is the last day of the decade. So I'm wondering how many of y'all have done your new decade resolutions. How many of y'all have done your new me? How many of y'all have done your new me resolution? And it is now the new decade. Every decade is 10 years. And what is so implicitly important about the number 10 is implicitly important about the number 10. It's a biblical symbol of harmony and creation. This number is one of the most powerful and most widely spread. This number symbolizes a man on earth in need to abide by the law of God's order, have a change for a new beginning. Also, it is a number of integration, discipline, laws, wholeness. The phrase God said is repeated 10 times throughout Genesis. His word reflected in 10 commandments as well. That symbol ultimately the law to live by. This number implies obedience and responsibility to the person to keep up the laws. Jesus was selected to take sins of humanity on the 10th day of the month, later known as the Day of Atonement. In other words, taking responsibility for disobedience and sins of humanity. This is a holy day which celebrates the victory of evil. There were 10 generations of people who lived before the flood and who were sinners. And the flood wiped them away, and for their the flood wiped them away for their disobedience. Noah was the 10th generation of the ark. It was created, led to the new beginning. The pagan Egypt experienced 10 plagues from God in order to release his people, which was the reaction to human disobedience. 10, ladies and gentlemen, is a very important number. The end of the decade is a very important time. However, you're going to hear that all night as you go on your way. As you're on your way and you go to your different places, your churches, your this, your that, you're going to hear that the number 10, the end of the decade, is extraordinarily important. However, what is actually more significant for my life this year is not the number 10. Yet what's actually more significant for my life this year is the number 20. And I don't know how many people are going to actually focus on the number 20. The number 20, we're at the end of a year. This 2019, we're at the end of a year. We're at the end of a decade. So we're coming out of the 10s and going into the 20s. So we're at the end of a decade. But we're also, this is the 20th year. And when I studied the 20th year, I found some really, really interesting stuff. The number 20 in the Bible. And I'm going by these numbers because it's saying something to me. So the number 20 in the Bible symbolizes the cycles of completeness, the end of the cycle, the completion of a cycle. It is not so widely used, but is often connected to a perfect period of waiting, labor, suffering that is compared to a trial and reward. Jacob waited 20 years to get his wives and property and release from his father-in-law. Solomon was building his house for himself and God it for 20 years until he got a place to live. Jabin and Canaan king was oppressing the people of Israel for 20 years until Deborah and Barak managed to release the people from trouble. God told Abraham that he finds at least 20 righteous people in the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. He would not ruin them. The number 20 is associated with trials and a period of waiting. And the number 20 typically means the end of a cycle. And for me, For me, it is certainly important at the end of this particular cycle, what I have learned so much about myself, and this is the end of a cycle. A lot of things you've been going through, a lot of things you've been coming through, just been repeating themselves. This was the year that we learned from those things. We end that cycle and we move into the next season that we call 2020. This right here is the last day of the year, the 6th episode of the Elevation Podcast, the last episode of 2019, and we are ready to go to the next level. This is the Elevation Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Elevation Podcast. My name is Shawn Riff-Raff, and we're here at the end of 2019, just ready to go into 2020, and I am excited about what is about to happen, and I am excited about what is about to happen. But before we do that, I got some things I'm going to do today that to me are going to be fun. To you, I don't know. We'll see. to you, I don't know. We'll see. But I want to recap a little bit some of the, just the greatest moments for me, because I look at the internet a lot. I look at the internet. I watch the internet a lot. So I found like a lot of great moments on the internet. And so I wanted to just, before I start off what we're actually doing today, I got a lot of conversations, a couple of people I'm bringing with me today. But before I start on that, I want to just recap a few things that have happened on the internet in the year of 2020. First of all, I cannot stop but to think about a lot of the memes that have happened this year. A lot of the funny memes that have happened this year. And a lot of times we're like, yo, where did this come from? This is stupid. Like, where did this come from? This is stupid. I don't know. The first meme is Baby Yoda. And Baby Yoda, I don't know why he keeps popping up. He keeps popping up, and it's so funny every single time he pops up. I love Baby Yoda. Hey, baby. And then somebody took these two pictures and put them together, and then all of a sudden it became the funniest thing on earth. I don't know where the cat came from. I don't know where the lady screaming came from, but it was hilarious. This is like one of the greatest moments of 2019. That was hilarious. Biggest song of 2019 is unfortunately, no offense to the people that create the song, unfortunately, big song of 2019 was Old Town Road. And and I think the song is terrible, but everybody likes it, and that's what matters. I actually wish that some of the people that I get the opportunity to interview and that we have a whole lot of stuff coming up in the future. I actually wish that some of the people that I have had an opportunity to interview and have great music and great Christian music and great godly music, I really wish that they really get the opportunity to have a song blow up like Old Town Road. But as of right now, 2019 was Old Town Road was the song. It was the jammy jam. Also in 2019, we saw this guy make a Christian album. I've been waiting for Kanye West to make a Christian album for his first album came in 2003. I've been waiting for Kanye West to come out with a gospel album since 2003 and Jesus Walks. Every album, and I've been a huge Kanye West fan, every album that has come out since then has had some remnants of Christ in it, some remnants of Jesus, some knowledge, or I have a admonition of Jesus Christ, but he never really went all the way there. 2019, we got to see Kanye West release an entire gospel or Christian album, and that was really, really dope. That was really dope. We also, in 2019, some of us got a chance to got that old thing back because Disney Plus put out an app, and that was really, really cool because we got to watch old old shows. We got to share them with the kids. The kids did not care, but we did, and that's what matters. None of the kids actually cared. But we got to get that old thing back. Now, one of the things about 2019 that was really, really cool is a great lesson that I'm about to teach you right now. Okay, Jesus rode in on a donkey, and when he rode in on this donkey, the people clapped for him. Then they crucified it. And yes, Nancy Pelosi did clap for Donald Trump, but she did not love him when she clapped for him. You have to pay attention, people. We have to pay attention to who applauds us. Don't feed off everyone's applause, because Nancy Pelosi did applaud Trump, and then she impeached him. And the final thing that I take away, last but not least, definitely not least, a lot of people know that I railed against them in all of my blogging that I did in 2019. I did a lot of blogging. And a lot of times I spoke and I said, these people suck. Yes, I said they suck. And I actually haven't gone back on that, but yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have to talk about Popeyes. And the reason that we have to talk about Popeye's chicken today is because on the last full week of 2019, in a town located in southern PG County, Maryland, that town known as Clinton, Maryland, there is in fact a Chick-fil-A on a street, a road by the name of Woodyard. There is a Chick-fil-A that sits, yes, right next to a Popeye's chicken. And while I was boycotting Popeye's chicken for the longest because I was determined that ain't no chicken sandwich worth what everybody went through, I couldn't help but to roll up and find that there was a new building erected, and that building was a Chick-fil-A, just opened. And it opened right beside an older building that had been the Popeye's chicken. And I said to myself, I can't sit here and watch these two right beside each other and not at least, compare and contrast. And so while I took a 1 day, 1 hour really, break away from my boycott of Popeye's chicken to compare and contrast. So I went to the Chick-fil-A. While in the line of the Chick-fil-A's packed. It's 15 people in front of me. I'm in line at the Chick-fil-A. It takes me about 5 to 7 minutes to go to the front, order my food, wait there for them, bring it out. Chick-fil-A takes about 5 to 7 minutes. Got my sandwich and walk across to the Popeyes. When we got into the Popeyes, there was no one in there, which was great. Walked right up to the counter. We ordered. We waited probably 12 to 15 minutes to get a chicken sandwich from Popeyes, though there were no one in the Popeyes. And I don't know why that is the case, but that's the case when you go to Popeyes. Okay, so now, after an extended wait for Popeyes, see, Popeyes must have known I was doing this, so they was hating on me. And they were trying to be like, your Chick-fil-A sandwich is going to be cold by the time you go back. And so I got back to the car, had both my Chick-fil-A sandwich and my Popeye sandwich, and inside of the car, and I'm going to test both the Chick-fil-A and the Popeye sandwich. So I'm ready. Me and the woman of God are sitting in the car, and this thing is about to go down. It's seriously about to go down. All right, and so as you can tell from the picture right here, Chick-fil-A is to the right, Popeye's to the left. All right, Popeyes is the light-skinned one. Chick-fil-A is the I just want you all to know Chick-fil-A wins. Not because I dislike Popeyes. Okay, Chick-fil-A just won. It tasted better, and that was my opinion. That was that has been my summary of the greatest moments of 2019. That was my summary. Now, thank you for paying me any attention on this December the 31st. Now, I want to talk about, on a more serious note, I want to talk about a few things 2019 for me was one of my best years I've ever had, and also one of my lowest years I've ever had. And while I'm going to talk about, first and foremost, I'm going to bring somebody here onto the podcast who has really been a part of my 2019. Obviously, he's been a part of the last 18 years of my life. He's been here, and he just happened to have probably one of the greatest years of his life in 2019. And I want him to come on up. Come on, man. I want y'all to give it up for none other. Where you at? Come on. None other than my son, Shawn. I don't have claps today because we're not doing any sound, so you just gonna have to roll with it.
Okay. Okay.
I don't have no claps today. We don't have no sound because I didn't do any music today. Best and worst. What's up?
Hey.
Oh Lord.
How's it going?
Listen, I need you to be more. I need you.
All right,
Hold on.
How everybody doing today?
All right,
This
exactly.
Elevation Podcast. How y'all doing?
Exactly. All right. Everybody, this is my son, Shawn. I want to first. You had an incredible year this year. Am I right or wrong?
A little bit.
A little bit. Well, I was there, so you can't.
It was a great year.
Yeah, it was a great year. You decided to move in with me, and you had a fantastic year. Before we go into all of the wonderful things that happened to you this year, I want to be, clearly, since you're my child, I know the answer to all of the questions that I'm about to ask you, but I want you to tell everybody else about, what is it like? What was it like growing up? My kid, Christian hip hop baby, because everybody found out in the year 2018, 2019 that you are pretty dope with the lyrics, and nobody seemed to have known that before then. I want you to tell the people about how, what it was like your life growing up, and don't take too long.
Okay. Well, when I was young, elementary school, and I was living with my mom, and you were making all this music. I wasn't making any music, but I wanted to, and I was a little nervous about everything. It was more like I saw you doing everything that you wanted to do. So you had your whole Reach Movement social network, and you had the music going on, and it was really inspiring to know that I could do anything I want to do.
You can. And
that's kind of the lesson that I took with me for the rest of my life. Just I can do anything I want to do, no matter what people say.
Cool. So that's cool. So let me ask you. This year, you had mad incredible stuff happen. At the beginning of the year, the prophet prophesied to me about you, right? He said that I would never have to pay for college. Tell me about your college road.
Well, I wanted to go to Full Sail University since like seventh grade. And so when I got to 12th, looked like I was going to go, but we couldn't afford it. And so we went into the backup plan, going to community college.
Right. Pause that, because we need to put context on here.
Okay.
Full Sail costs $80,000.
$81,000 actually. 81.
And not to mention it's $80,000 without paying for
housing and food.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, just for tuition.
For tuition. And so it's a very expensive school, and we didn't have, quite the ability, the money, the loan capability to get to that number in the way that they needed to get to them. So we had a plan.
We did. We had a plan. So I was gonna go to community college, get my associates, transfer, Full Sail, be able to afford it after that because it would be cut in half. Great plan. So I was planning. I got 2 jobs during the summer, and I called in to the community college, and I had actually scheduled orientation the day before. I mean, the day after I called to schedule orientation, you called me. I was about to get in the shower to go to work. You were like, "Would it be a blessing if Full Sail just called me and said they had a scholarship for you?" So I was like, "Yeah, that'd be pretty cool, pretty cool." And so got a scholarship to Full Sail, #1 school, and just went.
Right. And so let me tell you how that. Let me tell you exactly how that. Let me tell you exactly how that moment went. They called me and they said, so we got Deshaun all set up to come down to Full Sail. I think it was August. We got Deshaun all set up to come down. And I said, "Oh, wait, hold on, hold fast, hold fast." See, about that, see, what had happened was we didn't really have an opportunity to let y'all know that we wasn't coming because, that, and it was like, "Oh, I'm looking in the system here, and you actually, no, you're on a scholarship." And I was like, "We're on a who?" "You're on a scholarship." "I'm sorry. What kind of scholarship?" Because I know, because you won a couple
I had
scholarships.
like a $70,000 scholarship.
Yeah. You had
Something
it.
like that.
Yeah.
Some nice.
I
some slight.
said the type of scholarship we need, honey, is not the type of scholarship we need is not exactly the one that you're offering. He's like, "No, what's the name of your scholarship?"
Pathway.
You're on a Pathway scholarship. Your Pathway, the entire $81,000 of the school that you wanted to go to was 100% covered. And then I told you, and then what?
I left.
I was saying when you was at home.
Oh, I mean, yeah, okay. So you told me I was about to get in the shower to go to work, and you called me, and the moment you told me, I hung up the phone call, and I got on my knees, and I just thanked the Lord. It's literally what happened. Then I went to work.
That was amazing. That was an amazing moment. That was an amazing moment because that was about 3 weeks. Like, that was right.
Yeah, I was
when
about
you
to leave.
schedule your orientation for the community college.
I worked at AMC Theaters. I went there for one day after training.
You had scheduled your orientation call, and then you went right out, and they called, and literally 3 weeks later, we were on our way to Florida for you. Tell me some other stuff, because you're clearly doing really great. Wait a minute, you tell us. I can, you tell how's it going down there?
It's doing pretty good. I'm, grades are looking up. Schooling is going well. I'm learning a lot, doing some good things, meeting good people, networking, starting businesses. If you need a website, by the way.
Oh my goodness. You're doing really well out there. It's a lot of growth that happened. You're going to be in a magazine soon. And what's the name of that magazine?
His Favorite Teen.
His Favorite Teens. So they're going to be interviewing the magazine soon, and that's really, really cool. You've got mixtapes that you put out this year. You've got projects that you've done. You've got shows that you've done. You've done a lot of stuff this year. Would you say 2019 was your best year?
Absolutely. I feel like,
You have 18 to pick from.
like I said, I told you like last night, I was like, half of my life has been done in 2019. And it's like half of the accolades that I've gotten in 2019, the accomplishments I've done have been so past what I've thought that I could do. It's inspiring.
Interestingly enough, you're coming up on 2020, and whatever happened in 2019, we learned to appreciate the things that happened and always respect them. Always say that's the best year ever, but don't say that's the best possible year. Because the next year, the 2020 year, we're expecting the 2020 year to far surpass whatever you did in 2019. And so I hope that in what you do now, that you remember that your next year is going to be, next 2020 is going to be your best year. It's going to surpass 2019. And then 2020, 2021 further that. So I want you to stay encouraged and keep going, keep pressing, keep pushing. You have done an amazing job, and I'm proud of you, happy for you.
Cool.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you.
ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
Bye, boy. Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Elevation Podcast. I want to bring somebody else up. This is the last podcast of 2019. This is the last podcast in 2019. I want to tell y'all something. This year, I keep saying best and worst, best and worst, best and worst, best and worst. This year could have very much been the worst year of my life. And there were, towards the middle of the year, it was just the very, very, very low points of my life. And like my pastor said, who's there, Pastor Kimani T. Gilmer, said, some of the things that I have gone through, other people commit suicide over. Some of the things that I have gone through in 2019, other people commit suicide over. Some of the things that I've gone through in 2019 keep people in therapy for years. And for me, there was a point for me that I had to pick up and say, all right, you've been through it. It hurt. It was crazy. But you are here. And because you're here, I've got something, God had to show me that I need to put you back on track. I need you to find who you are. I need you to find, go back to the person, understand that everything you've gone through for a reason. And so there was a person that I met around about July. There was a person that I met. Upon meeting her, she began to bring out of me the thing that God was trying to, she began to bring out of me that thing that God was trying to say, hey, this is where I'm going with, I'm putting you back on track to the person I wanted. I designed you to be. And because of that, certain people you're with, they believe in you, and they push you, and they tell you to get up when you feel like sleeping all day, and they tell you to go forth and push you into the thing that you want, that not for any other purpose other than, this is what we're doing, this is what God has for you, I'm pushing you towards that thing. So I want to bring this person. Now, everybody I'm bringing tonight, well, actually it's only these two, but everybody I'm bringing tonight, I'm just letting y'all know, it's not any people that, publicly known like I normally do. This is just people who, for me, since this is the last podcast of the year, this people to me, if it not for these people, like Deshawn, if not for what happened with Deshawn, I feel like, life would have been completely in the dumpster. And if not for meeting this young lady and having her with me and partner with me and just be by my side and be my friend and really, really push me, life would have sucked. Come on up. I want everybody to meet someone who is behind the scenes a lot. You'll likely never see her on camera again, but her name, hi girl, her name is Keisha Gaskins. Hey girl.
What's up, everybody?
Hey.
Hey.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I am doing wonderful, sweating under these lights.
I see.
How are you?
Good.
Wonderful. I like, okay, so this she is like the hardest person to get to talk about herself because she's the least self-serving person on the face of the planet. So, so because she's the least self-serving person on the face of the planet, still, I want you to talk about yourself for a minute.
All right, I think I
Because
can do that.
everybody who comes on the Elevation Podcast has to talk about themselves. I like your shirt, by the way.
Thank you. It's an original.
That's my signature. Y'all. I'm just. I want you to talk about yourself. Where did you come from? That's a question I ask her every day. But where did you come from? And tell me about yourself, and tell me about just how you made it here, and don't go into too much detail. We on a time limit.
All right. Well, I'm just a kid from Reading. So I was born in Pottstown, Pennsylvania, raised in Reading, PA. Shout out Reading, PA. I'm just your typical inner city kid. I grew up in the city, went to the high school, graduated. My mother was a single parent. She had 3 of us, so she grinded hard. And that's where I get my drive from. I work hard for a lot, and I find that I raise my kids the same way that she raised me. I started college right out of high school, but I ain't finished because I had my son. But almost 10 years, no, about 10 years later, almost 20, graduated with my Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. So I know at this point I want to go back and get my master's. I'm just not sure in what.
Wonderful. Tell me, I want to know, the biggest obstacle of your life that you had to, I think I already know the answer to this, but I want to know the biggest obstacle of your life that you had to overcome.
Ooh. So I think, like a lot of people, you go through a lot of trials and you come out and you just kind of sometimes get stuck in this cycle. Biggest thing that I had to overcome was when I lost my mother in 2010. So anybody who knows me knows that my mother at that point in time had been not only my mother, but she was also my closest friend. And so I had my daughter less than a month before I lost her. So I fell into that cycle where I lost my mom, lost everything, hit rock bottom, had to figure out a way out. And that was hard. But I did it because, again, she was a person who taught me what I know. You find a way, and if you can't find a way, you just make a way. And so that's what I did.
Awesome. That's awesome. I'm sorry, I got lost in what you were saying. I'm like, where am I supposed to go next? I forget. But we have one of the biggest things I wanted to do today was talk about some of the things that we have going on, because you came and instantly we connected, and you were able to get me out of the funk of bad things. The funk of bad things that happened in 2019. You were able to get me out of the funk of bad things that happened in 2019. And because you were able to do that, we began to plan out a 2020. Are you always like that?
Yes. Sorry, always like what? You have to elaborate a little bit.
You always push people.
I do. I feel like it's part of who I am. For me, I personally always want to be better, not better than somebody else, but better than I was before. And so I find that I do that with a lot of people. sometimes I think it can be a little bothersome, but for the most part, I think people really appreciate it. I don't get anything out of it. It just makes me feel good when the person that I'm trying to push is able to get to where they're going.
That is definitely that is definitely a thing. Um, so so we're doing a whole bunch of stuff. Everything I'm doing now, because not only have you become pretty much, you become just my best friend and just my partner and just, pretty much everything. So everything I'm doing now, we're just like doing together.
Right.
And you're just, the back end, you have a lot of things that I don't have, you have. A lot of things, that I don't have. Like I am very big picture, you are very detailed.
This is true.
Um, I get, like I am very. I see the big idea behind everything. I'm always telling everybody, "Oh, we got to do this big thing," and you can grammatically check things that I would have looked over. You are
It's
so.
in me. It's in me.
Yeah. To the professionalism of, I don't know, I would have think you probably wrote a book or something in your life because, so we sat down and did this proposal and it was like, Jesus. And I thought it was good. And when she was done with it, it was not good.
Sorry.
I want to talk about some of the things we're doing. The first and foremost thing that we are doing in the new year is we are opening a clothing store. So a lot of people see me a lot of times. When you watch the Elevation podcast, if you watch it regularly, you always see that I'm giving away something to all of my guests. I'm giving away, one of these sweatshirts or a pair of jeans, or I gave Randy P shoes, and it was like whatever. All of these things come from my clothing store, which is overwhelmingly online. And in the year 2020, which this is actually your idea, and I was like, oh, well, you know what? You're right. We should be pushing that because that would have been something I wanted to do in 2015, 14, 13. But but you pushed it, and so this year we're opening up a Reach Dot clothing store.
Yeah.
This year we're opening up a Reach Dot clothing store inside of really big mall. Oh, I put that logo right on top of your face. Inside of a really big mall here, Arundel Mills Mall. And tell me, and which is funny because you said let's open a store. I said that is a great idea, and then I started looking, and we did a deal with Arundel Mills Mall, and which is really really cool because the property, when I sat down with him and I began to talk, have a conversation with him, he said, I'm really excited about you coming. I'm like, what? You're excited about me coming?
Right.
I'm a nobody. You own, $10 billion worth of properties around the country. He was like, yeah, but what you have, what I see in you, I believe that we can grow it in this mall and move it to the other malls around the country. And I said, oh, wow. What made you think about that?
I don't know. I think we were just sitting around talking like we normally do. And I think we were talking about the website. Actually, I believe we were driving, talking about the website, and it just popped in my mind. Like, have you ever thought about opening a physical store? My thought was that'll boost the site sales too.
Right.
Because it's a physical store. People are coming in, they know what it is, they see it all the time. And so I just thought it was a good idea.
Well, it was clearly a good idea and clearly a God idea because when I went to meet with all of the people there, they were actually more excited about me than I was about them, which is crazy. Which was crazy to me, but when something is the Lord makes room for it, regardless of anything. The Lord makes room for it. That's pretty huge for me. Actually, it's pretty huge for us all.
Yes.
Ain't that right, Day Day? It's pretty huge for us all. So the next thing that we're opening, that we're doing in the year of 2020 is going to be, is actually what everyone's seeing right now, is the infrastructure and the building of our of the network. And the building of the network is we're in the process of building an application that will run real time, full time, all the time. It'll be a Christian network where over all of the time that I've been just in Christian music and Christian everything, we never really had an opportunity to really have a platform, Christian hip hop. Really, we never really had the platform to do Christian hip hop stuff. So we never really got to build Christian hip hop culture. So my partners, my application partners, and if anybody has ever went to ShawnRiff-Raff.com, you'll see the beginning stages of it happening. Whereas the Elevation podcast, the Elevation show is there. Then I've got another show that I'm doing called The Godpreneur, which is talking about being a Christian in business. And then I've got a couple of other people that we're putting together shows. We're shooting actual films. We're putting together shows that will all be Christian-based shows done by overwhelmingly local or independent people, and just a bunch of content. All of my music, all of this stuff exists inside of the network, and you guys can get all the information about that network at ShawnRiff-Raff.com or Shawn Riff-Raff Networks. That is also. You'll see that launching as the year goes. You'll see different parts of it launching. Right now, you can look at it right now. You can see it there, but you'll see different parts of it launching as the year goes and as everything happens, and you'll see different parts of that, just launching. And the final thing that we are really, launching is the technology company. Whereas I've partnered with a lot of people. That are, building. We're working on a couple of government contracts, and we partner with a lot of people that are working to build some, applications, web development projects. Hopefully, when Data gets out of college, he can run that. He can run that wing for us. But we've partnered with a lot of people, and we sent out a bunch of proposals. Not a bunch, but we sent out some proposals. We were working together in building that thing, which is really, really cool. That's another application development and website development was something that I was already doing. Aside from all of the other stuff, was something that we were already doing. We're just launching it into a much bigger thing in the year of 2020. And so I'm excited about what's happening. I'm excited about you. You'll probably never be on camera again. I'll probably never ask you to do this again.
Thank you.
But I just wanted, on this last day of the year, I wanted for everyone to see sort of, what has pushed me behind the scenes, and who is with me, who has partnered with me behind the scenes. So that's why I brought you on here, because you asked me like 100 times, like, why me? And he was like, I got all of these people lined up, it's gonna be it's gonna be a good January. I'm trying to tell you, I got good shows. Son Sarvis is coming, Matt Anderson is coming, Pastor Fraser White is gonna be here in January. Bishop Eric Zimmerman is gonna be here in January. It's gonna be a good January. It's gonna be a good January. Some good conversations and some good elevation happening in January. I'm trying to tell you. But that is all, really. There is obviously, of course, you didn't know this because you normally do this. Everybody that comes on the show gets a gift. Except for Day-Day, he gets his rent paid.
Sorry, Day-Day.
That's your gift. Everybody that comes on my show gets a gift, including you, even though you're the partner. I gotta get it. Yo, my head is sweating. Okay, I'm back. It's a bag. Well, that was suck because I gave In Your Face a bag last week. There's actually something in the bag.
Oh, something's to look in the bag. Oh, you wrapped it.
You gotta pull it. We on a TV show.
Sorry.
Oh.
Sorry. So open it now?
That's the point. You gotta open it now.
Sorry. Working on it. All this paper. What is that?
It's more paper.
I know, it's a lot of paper. I don't knock this thing off.
You gotta hold it up.
Oh, sorry. Aww. Cute. I put it on her.
I brought you on the show to ask me, will you marry me?
Oh my god. Oh my god. What?
I would get on my knees, but the thing is it wouldn't be on the camera.
Oh my god. Yes.
Give it to me.
I'm sorry. Oh my god. I'm shaking.
It's got a little inscription on the back of it. You can read it later.
Okay. Oh my god. Oh my god. Sorry.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is how we're going into. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how we're going into 2020. Thank you guys very much. My son has his mouth open. Thank you guys very much. Bye-bye. This is the Elevation Podcast right here on ShawnRiff.com. Bye-bye.